grateful, man. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. You guys have no idea what it means to me, what it means to this university. You guys could have threw the towel in a long time ago and quit. You guys fought through adversity, fought through injury. You fought through pain. You guys battled through COVID. And yet you guys stood tall and fought for each other, man. I wish I could have been better for you today. Here's what I want to leave you with. Just a couple things here. Number one, that game right there, I hope you guys take that more so anything as a lesson for life itself. It don't matter, man. Sometimes life gonna beat on you. Everybody clear on that? Sometimes you're gonna take a loss. You're gonna take a lick, all right? You fight to the very end. You keep your head high and be proud of who you are and what you represent. You understand me? I'm not talking just in football, I'm talking about in life in general, okay? I'm damn proud of the way you guys fought tonight. I gotta be better, okay? I will say this, we're getting ready to turn the page now, okay? You guys gonna get some much deserved time off. You guys need to take advantage of it. Rest, recover, and you need to come back re-energized, okay? Those who are coming back to be an LSU Tiger. The future's bright, man. The future is very, very bright. You guys got a great leader, you got a great plan. He's gonna take you guys to places that we hadn't seen here in a little while. Everybody clear on that? And I need you guys to come in with open hearts, open minds, and ready to work. Ready to work. Everybody clear on that? Okay? To our seniors. Love y'all, man. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank you guys for every day waking up and putting it all on the line for LSU. LSU will forever be your home, guys. It doesn't matter who's here, who's coaching, this is your home. You guys need to continue to support it, love it, speak positively of it, man, and represent being an LSU Tiger. If I understand that, okay? For me personally, I can promise you the men in this room, okay? I'm here for you any day of the week that you guys need me. The way you guys fought for me, man, I'm indebted to you. I'm indebted to you. I appreciate you guys, man. This moment that you guys allowed me to take you into battle, man, I'm eternally indebted to you. I'm grateful. I love you guys, and I appreciate you.
Hello and welcome into the first edition of Tigers Roar in 2022. Certainly hope you and all your families had a very happy and healthy new year. Jonathan Poche alongside the Bud Man, Buddy Sanji here at Old School Barbecue, 10655 Corsi Boulevard. A great place to come and grab some great food, great atmosphere. Wild Bill behind the bar serving up some cold drinks. So come check us out. Once again, Old School Barbecue. Bud Man, Happy New Year. Happy to see you.
You too, JP. Happy New Year to everybody out there. It has been a crazy turn of events with the Christmas and New Year's. You guys, we were all talking about the fact that many of you out there watching probably have been a little confused about what day of the week it is. And we are broadcasting and taping on a Thursday because we had Southern basketball to do yesterday. But I'm going to be glad when we get to Monday with some semblance of normalcy, but hopeful the Tiger fans are on their way out to the Pete Maravich Assembly Center. This is a big one. This is a whiteout. Sue Gunner and the Lady Tigers, top 15 club, one loss for the year against, of course, Dawn Staley and the Gamecocks of South Carolina. JP, I'm predicting biggest crowd of the year, somewhere in the 9,000 range, 8,500 to 9,000. It is going to be streamed on SEC Plus, and I have yet to find out from anybody when is the last time, if it's ever happened, as we had fall into place chronologically Tuesday with basketball and football on the same /day or night. And basketball scintillating 65-60 victory over Kentucky. And then the Texas Bowl. And I have a lot of respect for Brad Davis and all those players that went over there. If the truth be known, really, they had no business being in this game. Now, Mike Scarborough, who will join us in about an hour, has done a lot of research. And he thinks the SEC kind of told LSU, you need to play because you opted out last year. No. But I guess the big question with football is, has LSU hit the bottom, and how long will it take to get back up? And so we got some exciting stuff to talk about, but kudos to interim coach Brad Davis, who did a heck of a job, and for all those players that didn't opt out. But Kansas State, I'll just say this, the next time Kansas State and LSU play in football, There's not going to be a lot of chirping from LSU, but there's going to be some butt kicking that's going on.
Right. Well, Kansas State, were feeling their oats because they were competing against junior varsity LSU, and,
Yeah.
and the LSU Tigers didn't quit. I mean, they played to the final whistle, the last play of the season. Who would have thought it'd be an 81-yard touchdown from John Shea Kirkland to Chris Hilton Jr. And you got to tip your hat to John Shea Kirkland, a guy that came to LSU as a defensive back, was the scout team quarterback for a couple of years, switched to wide receiver. Then his last game as an LSU Tiger, played as quarterback. Obviously, he was rusty. He hadn't thrown a pass since high school where he was all-state. He was an option quarterback in high school, and I thought that was going to be kind of the game plan moving forward, at least for Jake Peetz in the first half. It would be a tough task for any coach to try to call that game with so many players out. You have a wide receiver playing quarterback. You're starting running back. All the people that were missing, but still, I didn't think he called a great game with Kirkland, but it's tough to know what would have worked in that situation. Obviously, you don't spend a lot of time practicing with number 13 under center, but to change the whole format, okay, now we're going to huddle. We're going to have a completely different offense, which everybody kind of assumed would be the case once they announced that Kirkland would start, but credit to Brad Davis. I thought he said all the right things in the pregame, during halftime. I loved how he said they were going to win the game. I truly think he believed that Tigers had a chance to come back and win that game. Hats off to Brad Davis and the players that competed. You mentioned it would have been easy for LSU to opt out. Well, yeah, I mean, Texas A&M certainly opted out. I guarantee you they had more available players to play in their bowl game than LSU would have had. I heard your segment with Mike Scarborough on the radio yesterday. I heard Mike talking about how he kind of felt like SEC kind of pressured LSU into playing, and would they get their share of the bowl money. But huge win for LSU basketball. It was cool to see LSU, 6 hours in a stretch, prime time on ESPN during a weekday. I mean, that's good pub for LSU. Huge game for Coach Will Wade. Notice at halftime, LSU was up by 7. Didn't really hustle right at the buzzer for that last rebound. Of course, Kentucky kid got it and shot a fadeaway. And Coach Wade lost it. I mean, he was cursing up and down. Poor Coach Dale Brown was standing right there when he exited. He was blushing. Could only imagine the words that Coach Will Wade was using. But, look, I love his intensity. I think this team plays incredible defense, goes for 4 quarters, a very deep team, all with pretty good size and length. And they play hard, bud, man. They play tough nose. And when they want to buckle down and go one-on-one and play some defense, they're able to do that. And that style of play, look, if Darius Days can make a few threes, this team's going to be tough to beat by anybody in the country. Yeah.
By the way, Coach Dale Brown is an avid listener and viewer of our shows, and he wanted to give you a shout-out for the job that you've done.
I appreciate that.
Young guys keep us old guys involved and keep us in the flow, and congratulations with him getting the court named. It's kind of sad. We didn't have as much build-up, I don't think necessarily. And here's the thing that I got. I didn't know anybody from Baton Rouge other than media people like Matt Trent and Jacques Doucet and others that were going to cover the game. Nobody was going to Houston to watch this bowl game with such a depleted football team. But then people were interested enough in that they didn't go to the basketball game because they wanted to watch both. Right. And the way it is, of course, with me punching, right as soon as Xavier Pinson had the behind-the-neck slam, and to finish it off 65-60, flipped over, and Avery Atkins was kicking off for the Tigers. Look, real disappointed that the defense couldn't get off the field.
I agree.
And their quarterback is a 6-year guy, and he had a hell of a game. They had a good running back. They won the line of scrimmage. I agree with you, Peetz. Once again, I'm hearing overtures that they might keep Jake Peetz. Of course, they got to pay him $1.2 for 2 years. Right. And congratulations for him and his wife, as they are pregnant with kid number 7. But I think if he stays on, he'll probably be in an analyst role, and they like him a lot. But that all being said, Jonathan Kirkland, the last 2 passes with touchdowns, and that great pass at the end of the game was certainly spectacular to watch. But basketball, this LSU team is going to give people great hair. They have a propensity to play really well in spurts, and they can be 5 or 6 down, and boy, you go take a bath or shower or whatever, you come back and they're 6 or 7 up.
Right.
And it's a lot of ebb and flow. They're really good in transition. They're long. They're athletic. You made a great point, JP. They can belly up and play some man-to-man defense, and that's what won that game on Tuesday night. Eric Gaines played appreciably better, but Xavier Pinson, You can't continue to dribble drive into the lane with 6'10s and 7-footers and pick up your dribble, and you're suspended in the air and you're looking to pass or shoot or whatever, and they're doing way too much of that.
Yep.
Darius Days has not hit the 3 ball with the percentage he did opening the year when he made 8. But they just found a collective way to win, and lo and behold, one of the things that came out yesterday or last night is that the Kentucky assistant coach had a pregame press conference, and he was dissing LSU about, they do this and they do that. And, of course, John Calipari was griping about the officials and all of that. So, Kentucky, go back home. You got your butts beat. And, Calipari, not a real popular guy in college basketball, although there's a lot of people that still nationally especially don't like Will Wade. But, JP, if I would have told you in December 1, LSU basketball teams are going to have 1 loss each come January 6th of 2022, you'd have said, are you crazy? So basketball looks really, really good. As we said, a big one. With the South Carolina ladies tonight. I'm hoping that they can sell out the Deaf Dome for Saturday. It's a 5 o'clock start against Tennessee. And as we know, all that stuff going on. But football is a rebuild, and we'll get into some of the things. We've got some tape. And I think the thing that I see, JP, as you bring some of these coaches in here and finally finalizing this staff and certainly the transfer portal and all that, Tiger fans are going to have to be patient. This is going to be a one day at a time rebuild, but I'm confident when we're doing this show in August, getting ready to start 2022, I think LSU fans are going to have a lot to be excited about.
That's right. We have a long way to go before September when LSU takes on Florida State in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome down in New Orleans. A lot of things have to happen, Bud, man, taking a day at a time, just like you said. We have a lot more here on Tigers Roar. We'll also talk some NFL. The New Orleans Saints still hanging on by a thread, trying to get into those playoffs. We'll see if it happens. Budman's
playoffs. I still love that soundbite with Jim Mora, not the junior, but playoffs.
Yeah, classic.
We could have said playoffs, but they have a great shot to get into the playoffs.
Well, of course, we'll talk some more basketball after this break. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Tigers Roar.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Happy Honda Days are back for the most wonderful time of the year at Team Honda. The savings are high on every new Honda. And with our Buy Here, Sell Here program, you'll get top value for your trade. Happy Honda Days from Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Here on Tigers Roar. Before we get started, I want to remind you guys, check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. A great way to keep up with everything we do here at the Pelican. While you're at the page, go ahead and hit subscribe so you know every time we post something new. All the Tigers Roars are archived for your viewing pleasure, along with the Clarence Bugg Show, the Rocket Right Show, Overtime with Southern Athletic Director Roman Banks, and the Coach Roger Kadar Show, all up on YouTube, Budman. Great site to check out. Once again, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. All right, Bud, man, LSU basketball now 13-1, 1-1 in the SEC. A bounce back after a tough loss at Auburn to Bruce Pearl. Came home. It was going to be a primetime game. Dale Brown Court at halftime. A lot of emotion going into the game. Had a lot of former players at the game. A great crowd. Of course, you know, LSU football was playing just right after, so a lot of people did want to watch that game at home. But the crowd was into it early. LSU was up in the first half, kind of slowed down in the beginning of that second half, fell behind the Wildcats, but came back in big fashion. Will Wade, that's a great win for that Tiger program.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Kentucky is never going to lose their arrogance. You know, they think they're like Alabama in football, but that they pale in comparison. Kentucky, when's the last time Kentucky's done anything in the postseason under the cheater, John Calipari? Yeah, I said it. He's a cheater, just like so many coaches. And if you're not informed, speaking of cheating, how about Texas A&M spending millions and millions, although they say it's legal with this NIL. JP, I'm getting a lot of this, and we're going to talk hoops, but I'm getting a lot of this with the overview that the old-timers are kind of starting to see that college sports are not what they used to be, and we're starting to lose some of the amateurism. That all being said, played well, gave up a basket at the end, and Will Wade, it's a good thing he didn't have boxing gloves because he would have been going 3 rounds. He was that hot. Kentucky comes back and hits 3 or 4 threes, and all of a sudden they're up 7 or 8.
Yep.
And let's give LSU credit. They came back. They gnawed back. Eric Gaines, who's either really good or really bad, and he was really bad at Auburn, but he was really good against Kentucky. And when you get him making a 3-ball or 2 and you get him in transition on defense and playing under control. Now, Xavier Pinson got to do a much better job of not dribble drive and giving up the dribble and getting no man's land. I thought Efton Reed made a little bit of an improvement. Days has got to shoot better. And here we go, folks, with some highlights. Days, that's the first one that he makes.
Another guy, Budman, I think that we both like, and you think he should get more minutes, is Tari Eason. He led the Tigers in scoring with 13 points. Of course, he had that final big jam right before Pinson had that steal and the behind-the-back jam. But, look, LSU, when they can knock down some shots and it sets up like those lanes for these guys to drive.
That was Fudge on a great dunk.
Fudge has been having a great season, a big player.
He's got great potential.
Yeah, great range. And look, like I said, when LSU starts making some threes on the outside, open up those lanes for drive, they're going to be even tougher offensively, but the effort has always been there for Coach Will Wade's bunch.
Yeah, by the way, once again, here's Days, and he makes that 3-ball. I want to say he was about 3 for 10 or 11 in that game, but he made some big ones. And you and I were talking before the show. Brandon Murray is a guy that is really a key There is Fudge once again with a basket. Eric Gaines played appreciably better. And once again, dribble, drop, penetration, outside, inside, go back outside, and you got Brandon Murray making the three ball. Here, LSU is in transition. And, of course, that's Xavier Pinson. I'm glad he didn't get a tee for hanging on the rim.
Yeah, Brandon Murray shows up in the stat line against Kentucky. He had 10 points, 3 rebounds, and he had the 1 assist. But man, a very deep LSU team this season compared to like years past when Coach Will Wade said, the talent kind of falls off a cliff. The team
There's a 9-point deficit right there, JP.
Is very deep. Well, that kid Grady got hot for Kentucky. He just knocked down like 3 in a row, maybe 4 in a row. And LSU went to the zone when they were hitting some threes when they went back to man-to-man, and they really locked down late in this game.
Tari Eason with a putback and a foul. Tari Eason, I still haven't found the question answered good enough for me. Why isn't Tari Eason starting? But they've been working it that way. And here was when I thought LSU could win. That's a 3-ball that hit rim and went all the way around and went down for Eric Gaines.
Right, that's big 3 for Gaines. Of course, he had a couple steals in the second half as well. A big 3 from Days right there. He felt it. He was in rhythm. And LSU goes up 56-52 at this point. And here's another one from Days. Bang. The high arcing 3 by man, so pretty.
Yeah, look, and that's the great thing about Days and Will Wade. They've got that relationship. He keeps shooting them even when he misses. That was an incredible drive and scoop to the basket by Tari Eason. Of course, here it is at the end. This is going to be the craziness at the end. And once again, Eason with the one-handed jam. And then as we wrap it up, we'll see if Xavier Pinson can finish it behind his net with the last the steal. And here we go right here. Put a little French pastry on it as it is over 65-60. Tigers were 1-point favorite or thereabouts in that game. But I think this is building. Got to get some sellouts and got to get that PMAC rocking. It starts tonight and carries over to Saturday against Tennessee.
Look, I believe that Coach Will Wade knows his team can be elite. He always says, you can coach them hard if you love them hard. And I think he's done a really good job finding that balance of really expecting the most from his players. But look, they all in their press conferences, they always tell reporters, we love how hard he coaches. He pushes every day at practice. We know he has our back, and he wants the best out of us, and he gives us confidence to go out there and execute. And when you beat the Kentuckys of the world, you're 13-1 in this part of the season. You gotta kind of be feeling yourself, but man, when you get into the meat of that SEC schedule, it doesn't get much easier. Tennessee on Saturday, they're ranked. It's going to be another tough game at the PMAC. You mentioned whiteout tonight for Kim Mulkey's group, hosting the Gamecocks, South Carolina. And you hope it's a sellout, and you hope that momentum does carry over to the weekend.
My dad was sick with Alzheimer's many, many years ago, but Sue Gunner was the LSU coach, Simone Augustus, Sylvia Fowles. They were playing Tennessee, and I took him, and JP, it was crazy. They had a big walk-up crowd, and it ended up being a sellout. Coach Mulkey deserves to have a sold-out Pete Maravich Assembly Center. I think it's going to happen. Will Wade's going to have 1 or 2 or maybe more. And gymnastics opens up tomorrow night against Centenary. West Virginia ladies were coming in. They've got problems with COVID protocol. So, look, get ready to go out to the Pete Maravich Assembly Center, and I think it's going to be a nice little transition. Oh, by the way, 4 weeks from yesterday is February signing date. We are here to chronicle all of that. And, oh, by the way, also, Jay Johnson with an incredible baseball schedule and a lot of optimism of whether or not people are going to be eating Omaha steaks in Omaha this year. Too early to tell, but I like their chances.
We'll let you guys hear from head coach Will Wade. His post-game press conference against Kentucky. LSU took down the Wildcats 65-60. Here is head coach Will Wade.
Well, good win. Wish we'd have closed it out a little bit better. I didn't think we had a great start to the second half, obviously, to state the obvious, but thought our guys played really, really hard, which we were able to, overcome some of our other deficiencies because we played so hard. We did a nice job on the backboards, keeping it even on the backboards. We battled really, really hard on the glass, and so, it's what you got to do. You got to protect your home court. In SEC play, and we were able to do that.
This team seems to thrive on chaos, good and bad. Just at the end, you had good chaos, but before that, it was a lot of bad chaos. Is it something you're kind of used to with this team? That's just the way they play.
Yeah, we kind of work our way through it. So we've been able to work our way through it most of the year, and we're able to figure it out tonight. And so we've got to be a little bit more disciplined with things.
defensively, obviously they come out and hit those 6 threes to start the second half. What changed for you, obviously, to take away those 3-pointers, and how did you like the ball pressure in the second half?
Well, I was happy. I was thought about changing to some of our junk defenses when they hit all those threes. But I knew from their press conference they were prepared for the junk defenses based on what their assistant said. So we just had to settle in with our man, be a little bit more aggressive. In our man, and they changed their screening angles. They started screening their own man, so we had to stay with guys on the switch. They were initially inviting the switch and trying to flash the 4-man or the big to that high post, but then they changed their screening angles. So we just picked it up a little bit in man.
Coach, you got those guys to force 15 turnovers. How important was that ultimately in this win?
I mean, huge. That's what we have to do. I thought another big thing was we only turned it over 6 times in the second half, which was key. But being able to pressure, they had a good plan against our press attack, and we didn't against our press. We didn't want to be overly aggressive just because. Wheeler, he got hurt early. Hopefully he's doing well. He's a great kid, great family, and Ty I think got some cramps just from having to play so much. But I thought the cumulative effect of the press warmed down, but we weren't that aggressive trying to trap just because we thought if we gave them a head of steam, they were going to live in the lane. It was going to be a tough night for us, but we were still able to force 15 turnovers, which is a solid night.
Certainly looked like one of Eric Gaines' better halves in that second half. Just to speak to how big of a catalyst he was for you guys in the second half.
Proud of Eric, man. He's had a rough time down at Auburn. And, he really rallied the last 3 or 4 days. He had some really good practice. Thought he played well. I thought Justice Williams gave us good minutes in the first half. I thought those guys did a nice job. So really proud of Eric. He hit a big 3 for us. He hit 2 big 3s for us. But he's been working, and when you work and you do the right stuff, good things happen. And I thought he did a really nice job.
Still early, 2 games into this thing, but what did you learn from that Auburn game to this one tonight?
Well, I thought our focus was better coming into this game. We're going to play extremely hard. I think everybody knows that every night. It's just a matter of our focus and our details, and I thought our details were better up until the last part of the game there. But I thought our details were certainly better, and I like the way our guys responded. We learned some lessons from the Auburn game, and we were able to apply those tonight.
Before the season started, you said this team was going to be a lot more blue collar. Was that as blue collar of a win as you've seen in a while?
It's pretty blue collar. Anytime you get against a really good team like Kentucky, you got to be able to grind them out. It's going to be a physical game. But it's the SEC, man. We got to rest up tomorrow. We got 2 days prep. We got to turn around and do it again Saturday against another physical team in Tennessee.
Hey, Will, to see so many of your guys, step up and really score the ball tonight when you didn't have, I guess what you would normally get from Darius Days, how encouraged were you to see some of those guys take those bigger roles?
We needed that. Brandon Murray's a warrior. Obviously, having him back helps us tremendously on both ends. Having him back, and so I thought that was key for us. Gaines hitting the shots. Pinson did a good job driving the ball. Days hit some critical 3s for us, and then Tari did what he does, made some big time plays for us. So Efton's 3 was huge. We had a bunch of guys kind of step up, and collectively we found a way to dig out enough points to get it done.
You said coming into the year that defense was going to be the key for y'all. To have the best defense rating in the country at this point, just what does it say about the team, the personnel you have, and what y'all been up to?
I was more happy with our rebounding tonight. Our defense was solid. Once we cranked it up there, we let it get away from us there a little bit at the beginning of the second half. But our defense has been really good. Our guys have been locked in. Our guys have been focused, and that's important for us. So our defense has been great. So. We've got to keep that up. Not everybody's a believer in our defense yet, so we've got to keep working.
Over here, I know you don't want to see anybody get hurt, but how do you think that Reed's screen on Wheeler influenced the game, and also just generally, how did you feel your physicality and athleticism matched up with Kentucky overall?
Well, I love Wheeler. He's a kid we recruited. I know his family. I know his dad, Teddy, very well. We have one of our managers was with him at Houston Christian, where he played, and so they're great people. I've known them for a long time. I was actually I was joking with him in the layup lines when I got out there, and he was joking with me that his dad was up in the 300s. I said, you should have called me. I gotten him a little bit better tickets, but. I mean, he's a great kid. It was a legal screen by Efton. He gave him a step. It was a totally legal screen. It was just an unfortunate play, and certainly he's a Jet. He's a great player, and I think you saw the domino effect of that. They had to play some other guys, and then Ty Washington, kind of wore down. But I thought we played very physical. I thought we played very hard, and I thought that was I thought we were able. I'm not saying we were. I think we were, maybe as physical or played as hard as Kentucky. I'm not saying we exceeded them in any category, but I thought we did a nice job on that.
Speaking.
Continue here on Tigers Roar. Budman, listening to Coach Will Wade, it doesn't seem like, they're full of themselves right now, drinking their own Kool-Aid. They know they have a lot of work to do, a lot of areas to improve upon, and he's ready. I mean, he's got his crew ready to go, and they're playing some pretty good basketball at a good time in the schedule.
Well, I like the fact that he believes in expectations, and let me tell you something. He told these guys before the game, I'm sure, we're going to beat Kentucky, and I want you to expect to beat Kentucky. Will Wade is smart enough to know you got to win your home games in the conference, and you just want to go 50-50, split your road games. And if that's the case, then obviously you've got a chance to get into the postseason. How do you like this? Oh, by the way, I've had this question posed to me numerous times. Why isn't the ladies' game tonight on regular TV? With LSU and South Carolina, the Gamecocks, of course, number one in the country. Well, nobody, when they were putting the TV schedule out, thought that Kim Mulkey and the Lady Tigers would be nearly this good. It is streamed on the SEC Plus network. And JP, if you hadn't figured out a way to watch the streaming and the digital on your TV or your phone right now, well, guess what? I feel sorry for you because it's been going on digital for about the last 2 or 3 years.
Kim Mulkey's team is 14-1, Bud, man. They've already won more basketball games this season than they did all of last year.
Easily.
I think expectations were very high for Kim Mulkey. All the accolades you could ever want, both as a college player and as a coach. And she has truly hit the ground running. She said in her press conference yesterday about the South Carolina game that she really didn't have the expectations coming to LSU. She didn't know what to expect, but she knew that her team was going to work, and her competitiveness really rubs off on that team. And I think this will be a big test. Number one, South Carolina, size that LSU has not seen all year.
Yeah.
Coach Mulkey said it's going to be big girl basketball, and I think she's right. When it slows down to half-court basketball, LSU is going to have a tough time both defending and scoring on those tall trees that South Carolina puts down. There's some big women that play SEC basketball.
Absolutely.
And South Carolina has quite a few of them.
And I think Coach Mulkey, and I have no inside info on the game plan, but I think she's going to try to run entire South Carolina out. LSU is physical, but also they can run. And, oh, by the way, with the whiteout, I still think one of the coolest things in college football right now is Penn State with their whiteout.
Right.
And they do a heck of a job.
They do.
And I would love to see – now, they gave a bunch of T-shirts out to the crowd tonight. I would love to see that all the lower bowl packed with Tiger fans and the white T-shirts, but we'll see. Not necessarily a must-win, but I want to see if they can compete, and then if they have a chance to win, finish it. And this is the one thing that I think the men have got to do a better job of. We talked about making free throws. Xavier Pinson, they're up 8. He misses 2 free throws. They give up a couple of threes, a turnover and a foul, and the next thing you know, you got a 3-point lead with a minute to go. So Will Wade wasn't happy with the way they finished it. But it is nice after this first losing season. And that's why I didn't want the bowl game played. You realize that's the first losing season since 1999 for LSU football. And there were a lot of emotions. I call it the old wide world of sports. Remember, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat? Well, LSU had both of them on the same night. So moving forward with basketball, looks like it's going to be a fun season. Of course, we know that football is going to be a long build or rebuild, but I'm excited. And Marty even asked me the question. You asked the question. when is LSU going to start announcing some of these kids coming over from the transfer portal? And I think the next time we do Tigers Roar, we're going to have some names to throw out there for you.
We're going to take a quick break before we do, Budman. When I was watching the LSU-Kentucky game, I noticed something when Kentucky was shooting foul shots. Did you see, like, the huge cutout of General Wade that they have?
I've never seen that before,
That
and
was
I don't know
incredible.
how. It was cool.
Yeah, it was incredible.
It was, I don't know when they came up with that. Of course, in case you don't know, you can explain it about Will Wade with the General.
Yeah.
And,
General Wade.
I'm a marketing guy.
Yeah.
And Shaquille O'Neal's son is on the team.
Right.
So get on over there, LSU, and get off your butts and get Will Wade an NIL deal with the General.
The General.
Shaq advertises for him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so,
Big in the General.
but is he gonna take LSU basketball to places they haven't been before?
Not that they haven't been before, but where they haven't been in a long time. I mean, they.
Right, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Obviously Dale Brown
Right.
went to those Final Fours, and once again we look. I had him on, 86 years young. He's going to turn 87 on Halloween. You know who has the same birthday, huh?
I don't.
Nick Saban.
No, there you go.
So,
two of the goats.
But by the way, Nick is running out of fingers for all these rings. Real quick, I know it's off the beaten path. Does Kirby, I'm not so smart, choke? Or do you think Bama, does Bama win another one, or you like Georgia?
Well, that's a teaser. We're going to take a break, come back, talk some college football. The New Year's Six Bowls happened this past weekend. And, of course, National Championship Monday, January 10th. Georgia versus Alabama. They emerged from the SEC Championship game. We'll talk that and a whole lot more. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Tigers Roar.
Creel Tree Service is a licensed and insured tree service providing tree and stump removal, topping, trimming, cabling, pruning, and fertilizing. We have free stump removal with takedowns, free estimates, affordable rates, and senior citizens discounts. Call 774-TREE. That's 774-8733. Get your yard ready for the warmer weather. If it deals with a tree, call me, Creel Tree Service, 774-8733. That's 774-TREE.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
You've waited, and now Toyotathon is here at Team Toyota. Every new Toyota is on sale with end-of-year savings. And with our Buy Here, Sell Here program, we'll pay you top dollar for your trade. The selection and savings are right here for you at Team Toyota, I-12 and O'Neill.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
The Post on Church Point Road in Gonzales would like to invite everyone to their newly renovated events hall, a beautiful 9,600 square foot facility that features a 5,500 square foot main hall and a separate 600 square foot conference room. Renters have access to our huge kitchen, large stage, tables, chairs, bar, and covered outdoor cooking. So plan your next wedding, party, conference, and more at The Post on Church Point Road in Gonzales.
Hello. Hola. Ni hao.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
We continue here on Tigers Roar. Time to talk some NCAA football. The New Year's Six Bowls are played, of course, on New Year's. It was Saturday this past weekend. Of course, we tape here January 6th on a Thursday because we had a conflict Wednesday on our usual taping spot. Of course, see, Budman has donned the glasses, so it's time to talk about an LSU loss. Texas Bowl, so many people out, Budman. Expectations could not have been high for anyone who follows the Tigers, but I thought Coach Brad Davis did an excellent job in his interim duties, and he had that team of the guys that dressed out, ready to play. They gave it their best shot, and something to be proud of for the Tigers.
You know, obviously it's the tradition. After LSU football loss, I wear the sunglasses, so I kept up that tradition for about a minute. Look, kudos to all of those players.
Yeah.
Real quick, let's kind of talk about this LSU football team moving forward. And nobody could ascertain or project or predict that Max Johnson was going to transfer and go and play with Jimbo and Texas A&M. Derek Stingley made it official today. Cordell Flott made it official yesterday. Cam Lewis, Jason Hines made it official earlier this week. A lot of guys going pro. I'm hearing strong overtures that Cade York, the outstanding place kicker, I still think he's the best place kicker in the history of LSU football, especially kicking the 50-yarder plus. I think he's probably going to give up his final year. People telling me he's graduated. And the only thing he hadn't shown the pros yet is that how well can he kick off and still do all those duties. But how about that? That was the telltale of 2021 with football, when the kicker even gets hurt before the bowl game. But I think when you look at it, and look, this is all opinion right now, but excuse me, the offensive line, kudos to those guys for showing up and playing in the game. But the offensive line that you're going to see next year for LSU football is going to be appreciably better. And Brad Davis really improved those guys from about halfway on. But bringing in the big uglies and recruiting and all the recruits coming in, you're going to be better at the offensive line. You agree there?
I certainly agree. And it's going to start not in a couple of years. They'll be better next year.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Next year, they'll be better.
It'll be a solid group next year.
Offensively, what did you not have this year? A lot of depth at quarterback because, of course, Miles Brennan got hurt. Max played most of the year. Garrett Nussmeier flip-flopped with whether he wanted to play a red shirt. We know he didn't play in the game, so he did get his red shirt. But now you got Miles Brennan, Garrett Nussmeier, and Walker Howard coming in. So you've got better quarterback depth next year.
Yep.
Agreed?
Agreed, certainly.
Great to see Gordon McKernan and others step up with the NIL money and keep Keyshawn Butte here. And look, Jack Besh is going to be a wide receiver next year. You're going to recruit and get some big tight ends in the transfer portal. But, man, they got a slew of wide receivers, so that's never going to be a problem in this part of the country. JP, watching all of the bowl games and of course, the culmination Monday night with Alabama and Georgia, LSU's got to get better and get back to having 4 big-time running backs. And you need 3 or 4. You need 1 or 2 to catch the ball out the backfield. You need 1 or 2 to run inside the tackles. You need 1 or 2 that has the speed. And, oh, by the way, for some good news, John Emery says he's locked in and he's coming back. That's a big money year for him. Yep. TDP, in case you missed it, opted out for the bowl game. We wish him the best. But LSU at running back has not been up to snuff since Clyde Edwards-Helaire left and went to the Kansas City Chiefs. On the flip side with defense, you got a lot of holes to fill. Linebackers, I was a little disappointed with Mike Jones and Greg Penn. Of course, when you got Tad Harris having to play safety, he's got a propensity to give up big plays. They didn't tackle well, but a lot of holes to fill on defense. I think they're going to be pretty good on offense, but you know where it starts when you're building a house, the foundation. And I think Brian Kelly is going to spend a lot of time, money, and effort getting LSU reestablished at the line of scrimmage.
We do have some highlights from the Texas Bowl. We'll go ahead and roll those in the truck, and we'll continue the conversation. But, man, one area that I thought could have played better was that defensive front, the defensive line. LSU so close on a couple of rushes, especially in that first drive of the game. Just a half step or two late from getting a sack, possibly causing a turnover, and the quarterback makes a good play and makes the first down for the Kansas State
This
Wildcats.
is a perfect example right here. I mean, you miss a tackle in space, and then he gets into the end zone. Let's give the Kansas State quarterback Spencer Thompson a lot of credit. He's a 6-year guy. And they were feeling their oats, especially the first couple of 3 drives. Here's a sack from B.J. Ojulari, who I think is going to be a superstar next year.
He might be the best player on the defense for the Tigers next year. Ojulari did a great job. You knew someone was going to get home, and it was going to be number 8 for this defensive line. The front, the blitz kind of caught them a couple times when Kansas State went to a screen, but I thought LSU had a pretty good plan, just could not tackle number 22 Vaughn. Ended up with 4 touchdowns on the day.
You know, guys like Jacobian Gilroy, Mason Smith, Jaqueline Roy, all those guys have got to get better interior. And here is, of course, Jontre Kirkland making a little read option and making a first down. And finally, I want to say they only had like 3 plays in the first quarter or something.
Right,
It was ridiculous.
They went 3 and out twice early in the game, and Kansas State on that first drive took up half of the first quarter, scored a touchdown. They kind of felt like they were going to beat LSU. Noticing during the game, Kirkland had a bunch of snaps that weren't directly to him, and if he's not a wide receiver, didn't have good hands and quick reflexes, I think some of those snaps kind of get behind him, and that's just one more a challenge or a hurdle right there.
Great call, great comment, and that was a great catch by him. Of course, Kirkland came in, tried to play DB his first couple of years, and then they switched him over to wide receiver, and great that he was able to get a chance to show his talent in this final game.
Yeah, right before half, a great throw by Kirkland to Jalray Jenkins, the guy that threw the daggers to the heart of the Texas A&M Aggies. Happy for number 10, happy for number 13 right there, 20 touchdown pass. What a cool experience for your last game as an LSU Tiger to be in the Houston, Texas NRG Stadium and throwing 3 touchdowns. I mean, what a way to go out as a Tiger.
I don't know if Jalray Jenkins is back. I think he's got another year eligibility. That'll be the last time he ever spikes the ball. You can't spike the ball in college football after a touchdown. Of course, got the 15-yard penalty on the kickoff. And I can't remember if I hurt them. Yeah, okay, Avery Atkins makes a tackle here. You know, Avery Atkins made a lot of tackles in high school.
Yep, number 18 for LSU Tigers. Happy to see him going off on a good note. LSU had the best kickoff man they've ever had in Avery Atkins, and he was also thrusting or punting duty this season. Happy he can go out with his head held high for the LSU Tigers. Obviously, big players missing from LSU's defense, but if Damone Clark and Micah Baskerville are in this game, there's no chance little 22 is doing this.
Well, and that was the negative about playing this game with such a depleted roster. You just had so many guys out. Here's Kirkland once again picking up a first down and doing a good thing. Corey Kiner, I thought, got better. I want to see 21 lose a little bit weight and get a little quicker and have a little bit of a more of a burst. Yep. But JP, I really think they need to recruit. Even though Emery's coming back, I think they need to recruit a couple stud running backs to help this offense out. But once again, when you give a guy like this who knows what he's doing too much time, that's a great throw right there at the corner.
Yep, can't defend a perfect throw, and that was a perfect throw. 88 hurt the Tigers all game. Very dynamic player. But look, LSU gets back there for another almost sack, and the ball gets thrown away. Went to the line of scrimmage, so it's I believe they did call him for intentional grounding.
Yeah, that was intentional grounding right there. As, they came with the blitz, and this is one of the few times that Kansas State actually did a great job of calling plays when LSU was blitzing.
Yep.
And but that's grounding right there. I'm sorry, intentional grounding.
I thought the kid that transferred from Nichols, Pig Cage, I thought he flashed a few times in that first quarter.
Yeah.
And it looked like he was playing with some juice. Excited to have him around the LSU program. Right there, interception by Jenkins. It made the right read, just a poor throw. The guy doesn't practice.
Well, and you got to put air underneath that ball. He threw it on a line and didn't put enough air on the ball. And here, once again, is Kansas State coming in here and getting in the end zone right before halftime. Or actually, this is the second half.
Yeah, this is right before the fourth quarter starts. I think that was just short of the end zone.
Okay, and he got in right here, yeah.
Back to 22. Look, a lot of comparisons to Darren Sproles. Of course, he's a small stature guy, and he goes to Kansas State, so I understand it. But 22 is not Darren Sproles. I mean, come on.
Darren Sproles is one of the – man, look, I hated when the Saints let him go, and he played another 3 or 4 years. But, you're right. That's not much of a comparison. Here is, of course, another big play through the secondary. And as we know, you only had 3 corners and 2 nickel backs. That's how depleted the LSU DBU was in this game.
Right. A strength for this team at one point in the season was a defensive line. There was so much depth, so many athletes. But look, Ali Gay goes down, and then so many players act out, and Neil Farrell chooses not to play, and he's ready for the Senior Bowl. It was tough for those young guys, but look, I think that's a very bright spot for Coach Brian Kelly moving forward. He can build around these young defensive linemen that really get after the quarterback.
Malik Neighbors did get a couple opportunities to run with the football. I really like his potential, number 8. I think he's going to be a great complimentary receiver to Kayshon Boutte. And, of course, this is great to see LSU at least score at the end. Once again, Jake Peach rolling his quarterback out to the left, throwing against his shoulder. But he did square, and once again, a great catch by the aforementioned Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, it was a great catch by Neighbors. It's so cool to see guys that shared a room all season in the wide receiver room. Kirkland, that was a pretty nice pass. I mean,
great throw, too.
Great touch.
Great throw to space. And I'm telling you, 8 and Boutte and LSU will be loaded at wide receiver once again.
I noticed Jack Bash a couple of times in the game when they showed him on the sideline was raring to go. Here's the last play of the game, the fake reverse pass right here.
And I love the potential of this young man. He was a high jumper in high school. He's very athletic. He was hurt most of the year. That is Chris Hilton, and I think you're going to see a lot more of number 17 on offense next year.
The coach for Kansas State used to be at North Dakota State. He built a powerhouse in that FCS program. You could tell Kansas State isn't very used to winning. They totally botched the dumping the Gatorade on the coach. They couldn't figure out when to do it. The cameras kept staying on, like, when's it going to happen? The guys are walking around, walking the wrong way with the cooler. Don't do anything great in sports if you can't handle the celebration. I think John Madden might have said that. Rest in peace to the GOAT, John Madden.
Yeah, we lost a lot of our legendary. Dan Reeves, of course, former Dallas Cowboy coach with Atlanta. We've lost a lot of people. We also know, once again, COVID amping up again, so we hope all of you out there are going to stay safe with your families as we embark on to another year. We've made it into 2022, and I'm just thinking 2022, hopefully, is going to be a little more fun ride. This was a bumpy one in 2021.
Well, you kind of get discouraged that 2022 just sounds like 2020 TOO, like also. But we hope it's certainly an easier year for a lot of you folks out there. Of course, LSU, along with the rest of us here in Louisiana, struggled with a lot. COVID, Hurricane Ida, a whole lot more. Loss of loved ones. But here's to a pleasant 2022. We have a whole lot more here on Tigers Roar. We'll talk to Mike Scarborough from TigerBait.com. We come back for this break. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Tigers Roar.
Taste the feeling.
The Post on Church Point Road in Gonzales would like to invite everyone to their newly renovated events hall, a beautiful 9,600 square foot facility that features a 5,500 square foot main hall and a separate 600 square foot conference room. Renters have access to our huge kitchen, large stage, tables, chairs, bar, and covered outdoor cooking. So plan your next wedding, party, conference, and more at The Post on Church Point Road, Gonzales.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club. a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonCountryClub.com.
You could be driving. Happy Honda Days are back for the most wonderful time of the year at Team Honda. The savings are high on every new Honda. And with our Buy Here, Sell Here program, you'll get top value for your trade. Happy Honda Days from Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda.
Here on Tigers Roar of Coast and Tours and Television, but man, always got to be ready to audible. We will continue to try to reach Mike Scarborough from TigerBait.com and get him on the show. We certainly appreciate everything Mike does.
He did post game with his cohort Preston Guy. Can you imagine how tough that was to do post game after that ball game? And as always, folks, another football season in the can. JP, I said it earlier, I wish LSU would have been able to not have to play in that game. They would have kept their consecutive non-losing streak intact. But they did have to play the game. Mike, we'll talk to Mike in a couple seconds here. But I know you're very happy. I've been a little tough on Sean Payton and the Saints this year simply because if you put the tape in when the Saints play Miami, you wonder, why in the hell is this guy making $9 million, and why are they going to give Taysom Hill, who, of course, been in and out of the whirlpool, all that money? But they are in a position, JP, to make the playoffs. Boy, that would be a very unpopular situation if the Dirty Birds stopped them from getting in. You know, LSU has a lot of rivalries, but I think the Saints and the Falcons, they just don't like each other. Fans, coaches, players, they don't like each other.
Well, there is one Falcon that Saints fans kind of keep near and dear to the heart, and punter Thomas Morstead. The organization actually sent Morstead a king cake this week and said, look, we hope to see you out there a lot on the field this coming Sunday. Of course, that means the Falcons are, punting on 4th down. But, yeah, there's not a more bitter rivalry than Saints-Falcons, certainly in NFC South, in my opinion, in the whole NFC. I've been to different arenas around the league, watching Saints games, and usually fans are pretty cool. They want you to come in, spend some money in their city, hang out, have a good time. Don't be a jerk, but not the Falcons fans. They are nasty. They call them Dirty Birds, and they're proud of it. But I'm not trying to badmouth anybody, but Falcons fans are tough, especially on Saints fans.
And they stole the Mercedes sponsorship.
Let them have it. Yeah, let them have it. We do have some highlights. We appreciate you running them out there in the truck. Defense got Demario Davis back and a few other guys, so they were almost at 100%. They were out Marcus Williams. Of course, that meant P.J. Williams had to play a lot more at safety. But look, Saints defense came to play. They're always very tough in that Superdome. It wasn't a sellout, but it did have a pretty good crowd. Of course, here you get Devontae Harris back. He's an explosive player to have as a kick returner. He was back in uniform after serving that 3-game suspension. The Saints did go down 3 early, but Taysom Hill kind of figured things out. Got Alvin Kamara going a little bit. Here's a little swing pass out to the left. Kamara does the rest, does a good job. Really not many other players in the league like number 41 when he gets the ball. Taysom Hill did enough with his arm, but really the special factor of Taysom, of course, is what he can do with his feet. There's another pass to Kamara. Really, when you get him going early in the game, it's going to be good for the rest of the Saints offense. Really, it goes through Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It was an ugly first half. Saints kicked it into overdrive, and once again, Taysom Hill obviously doing some good things. JP, is he the quarterback of the future, or do you think they're going to seriously entertain possible options like Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson and others to get them in here? Of course, we don't know what's going to happen with Jameis. There's Cam once again having a great year. And Carolina, Joe Brady was the coordinator, got fired by Matt Rule. I don't know if Matt Rule is going to make it over there. Do you?
No, he's certainly on the hot seat. It wouldn't surprise me if they went a different direction in the offseason.
Maybe one more year for him, but man, it's a different animal coaching pro players in college.
It certainly is, and Urban Meyer was the first coach in a very long time not to make it through his first season as an NFL HC. But Cam Jordan, 3.5 sacks again, back-to-back NFC Players of the Week. They see P.J. Williams, who was thrust into a bigger duty because the Saints were out of Marcus Williams because he was on the COVID list. But the defensive line, they get pressure with 4 or 5 guys. That's going to be good for that secondary. Saints have one of the best secondaries in the league, Bud, man. Marshawn Lattimore and the young guy, Paulson Adebo. You get C.D. Deuce back, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and that defensive secondary is a load for any team.
He played well. 22 played well. As soon as we finish our Saints highlights, we are going to segue over to Mike Scarborough, who's been working hard, as we said, doing post-game Tuesday night into all of the early morning hours. And it's real simple. Rams win and Saints win. The Saints are the number 7 seed and will play the L.A. Rams in the first round. Of course, Green Bay does have the bye. And a lot of controversy. Hub Arkush. Now, I had this guy on the show about 20 years ago, and he's a pro football guy, but a lot of controversy because he says that Aaron Rodgers should not be the MVP because he's not vaccinated.
Right, he's a bad
and
guy.
Rodgers, of course, called him a bum. So that controversy again. And Antonio Brown, a lot of drama with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay going in the wrong direction, looks like, this year.
Well, to answer your earlier question, Bud, man, I think Taysom Hill has proven he is a very valuable backup quarterback. I mean, he can do what the offense needs him to do in spurts, and he's certainly capable of coming in and winning a game. He's proven that in the NFL. But in my opinion, the Saints should go back after Jameis Winston, pending a rehab, obviously. Too much is going to be required of teams to give up their franchise quarterbacks. Russell Wilson, I've heard Aaron Rodgers, I've heard Deshaun Watson. I can't see any of those guys going to another team for less than 3 first-round picks, and I don't think the Saints are willing to give that up.
Yeah, I don't think they should do this. Of course, the Saints were so desperate they actually called Drew Brees at the last minute, and I think he considered it for about an hour or so, but his wife and kids said, come on, Dad. And Drew obviously is doing a great job on NBC. So Saints, once again, give us a reason to watch this weekend. And I'm not going to mince any words here. I did not think that they had a chance to make the playoffs. Ed Daniels and myself were talking about the Saints this year. We thought they'd go 9-8 at the Apex, or 8-9. And, of course, they win. They'll go 9-8. And pretty darn good considering all the obstacles they've had to jump through this year.
Yeah, I know Coach Vrabel out in Tennessee is the favorite to win Coach of the Year, especially if they lock up that number 1 seed. But the Saints can beat Atlanta and get into the playoffs. It's tough to argue against Sean Payton being that running for Coach of the Year. Starting 58 different starters, Bud, man, in a season is unbelievable. To be 8-8 with a real shot at making the playoffs with the team that started 58 different guys. Look at a 53-man roster, but you're going to start 58 different people in a season. That's an NFL record, and I think Sean Payton's done a pretty good job handling all that attrition.
Well, look, I'm not a Sean Payton fan. I think he's an arrogant prick to most people in the media. I think him and Mickey never ever admit when they draft wrong, and they've made a lot of drafting mistakes. Oh, by the way, who'd they pick on the D-line? Peyton Turner. Have you seen him make a tackle this year?
I will make a bold assumption, Bud, man, for the 6th year in a row, Saints are going to pick a lineman with their first pick.
Well, look, it is nice that they better not drop the ball, but I'm sorry. Sean Payton does not deserve to be in consideration of a Coach of the Year.
Oh,
no
yeah.
way.
Oh, yeah, Coach of the
way.
Year. Oh,
no
yeah,
way.
Coach
That's crazy.
But, man, won games with Trevor Siemian. One game, but, hey, it was against the Bucs.
And
Halloween.
Who is responsible for the roster and the dead money? Him and Mickey.
Tomatoes, Bud, man. Okay. Why don't you welcome in your boy Mike.
Mike Scarborough. We're fighting over the Saints, and I'm sure we're going to be fighting over Brian Kelly, but kudos to you. Great year in 2021 recruiting and this transition. When are you going to get a decent night's sleep, and when is it going to get back to some normalcy? Because every day we get news. Of course, today the news that nobody was surprised with, Derek Stingley going pro. And, of course, official announcement with the new D-line coach. But, Mike, how's it going on a Thursday? And thanks for joining us on a non-typical Thursday afternoon.
Doing great. And there's never time to relax. A lot of people think, well, yeah, Mike and Tiger Bait, they're mainly football recruiting. No. And so now we're about to have probably the busiest January since the addition of the early signing period between high school and transfer portal. You got, 5 weeks until the start of baseball. Got men's and women's basketball in the top 25 at LSU. Before you'll blink an eye, and spring football practices will be here. So the spring is even busier for us than football season.
Hey, there was a report today, I forget who it was, but Eastern Michigan had a NIL deal for Caleb Williams. If he comes plays 1 year, JP and Mike, he'd make $1 million. Mike, are you seeing this kind of money thrown around? I mean, we know what happened with recruiting in NIL, but is that the going rate to get a guy for a year in the transfer portal? And secondly, when is LSU going to start to land some kids in the transfer portal, in your opinion?
Well, I think that's going to, as soon as the dead period's over next week, you're going to see a lot of movement. You're going to see the recruiting weekends happen in the month of January, and it'll be a nice mix of transfer portal, college kids, along with high school prospects. And there might have been a good chance that it might be where there's a couple more transfer portal kids than there are actually high school kids on a visit weekend.
JP, I've been talking to Mike about running backs, and we've been talking about, look what Brian Robinson's done for Alabama. Look at the slew of running backs with Georgia. Mike, give me the latest on Citizen, and do you agree that LSU needs to add a couple running backs before the 2022 season?
Yeah, John Emery is going to be back, so I think LSU will be in good shape with Citizen with the whole month to recruit him with Frank Wilson. And believe me, that's a big test for Frank because Coach Wilson was in Lake Charles coaching in McNeese, and that's going to be his guy, and he's going to be coaching running backs. So, I think that's an important recruit for Frank Wilson, as is Jacoby Matthews at Ponchatoula.
Tight end from Westgate also. So how many high school recruits do you think they had 4 weeks from yesterday?
I probably think, 3 to 5? And then they use the rest for college transfer portal kids.
And Armani Goodwin, JP, he did not play in the bowl game. I know he's had a bad ankle and injured all year. When you think we're going to get verification? Mike, we didn't know if some of these kids were academically ineligible or going to get in the transfer portal or what. When do you think this LSU roster starts to clear up a little bit?
Well, I'm assuming all the way up until the first day of the spring semester, January, whatever. So, I don't know what that date is, whatever that couple Mondays from now, I guess. Who's enrolled in classes and who's not.
My question I've been getting a bunch is Coach Brian Kelly going to bring some of his players from Notre Dame? I've been saying that I believe he will, but there's kind of like a time and a place to do that. You want to be respectful of the place you used to be employed at Notre Dame, and I think it's coming soon now.
Yeah, but here's the thing to caution about that. First of all, because Notre Dame hired from within, and I don't know what the number is. How many of the coaches are the same after Kelly left? I mean, he only brought a couple of guys with him. So, what are you getting? Are you getting a starter and a guy who's an all-ACC performer? Or are you getting a guy who was third on the depth chart at Notre Dame? Does the guy that's third on the depth chart at Notre Dame give you the immediate help you need at LSU right now?
Right.
A couple of DBs from Arkansas coming in the transfer portal. I saw a lineman who made all-SEC freshman from Missouri is in the transfer portal. Mike, his high school coach, is on the LSU staff. It's going to be interesting, and JP and Mike, we know about the name Bill Polian. I think Brian Polian is going to be well known by the time we get into August and September around here, Mike.
Yeah, he sure has been active on Twitter and really working the portal, and so that's why I'm saying the next few weeks are going to be fast and furious.
Right. I mean, there's certainly a lot to do before that September kickoff at LSU and Florida State, Mike. It doesn't seem like Coach Brian Kelly has a lot of time to waste. I mean, I know they're in a dead period now, but got to kick it back up soon. February 2 is just a few weeks down the road, and then, I mean, you look forward to spring and then, fall conditioning, and it's going to be here before you know it. And it's a total rebuild, in my opinion. I mean, getting rid of almost everybody from the previous staff, including the GM that was let go this week, and Austin Thomas. And look, I understand Brian Kelly wants his guys in there, and Coach Budman mentioned a great name in Brian Polian, a guy that's been around football his entire life. I mean, you have to think that the household, the entire Polian household, just lived, breathed, ate, slept football, and very respected. I mean, the guy's still talking head on ESPN and Bill Polian. So I think I think the other son is working with David Randa at Baylor, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's correct.
Look, he's going to be kind of the point man, I think, right, for Coach Kelly?
Yeah, he's going to be – I was told, of course, and this is one of those deals, too, where I hope we get another media get-together with Coach Kelly to ask him some of these questions. But it's my understanding that Coach Polian has the ability right now to extend offers, he's got that power. So that tells you what Brian Kelly thinks of Polian.
JP and Mike, a lot of talk about the numbers at LSU. Now, Mike, you and I have been talking about this for the last couple of years when LSU self-imposed 8 scholarships that was in the situation with the Title IX, and that was their response to do that. It doesn't affect them with the 25 on a yearly basis, but it does affect them on the 85. JP, we were talking about a lot of people looking at the numbers. But, Mike, you told me that LSU will be all right with scholarship numbers, of course, this year, being able to bring in 25 plus 7 with 32. Do you feel like those numbers are going to get back up to normal, or is it going to take Brian Kelly and his staff a couple years to get this roster worked out and have guys, everybody that they want on the team here? Because, as we know, JP, there's been a purging, as you alluded to, whether it be administrators, offensive and defensive coaches, and now players. Mike, how long is it going to take Brian Kelly to get this thing looking the way he wants?
I think it's going to take a couple of years to get the numbers remotely right, and then I think it's probably going to take 3 years for LSU to be going into a season to where you can raise your expectations to, talking about going 9-3, 10-2, 11-1 type of stuff.
Yeah, Mike. Obviously, the football game was played after a great Kentucky LSU basketball game. LSU was a 6-hour window on ESPN prime time on a Tuesday. That's got to be great exposure for the program. I thought Coach Brian Kelly's little segment inside the booth really was telling about where this program is. I know they had a great article on TigerBait.com. Is this rock bottom for LSU? And I know a lot of fans certainly hope it is, so the only way to go is up with Coach Kelly. But listening to Coach talk while this game was going on, Kirkland's throwing an interception, there's turnovers happening.
Yeah.
He really was not fazed. Like, he understood that this night represent a turning of a page. Like, it's not gonna. This isn't not my team. When we put on the field next season, we take the field against Florida State. That's going to be Brian Kelly's team, and certainly approaching it as a CEO. But Mike, I got to give a huge shout out to Coach Brad Davis and how he had his team ready to fight. Those that were there, ready to play, and I'm happy that Coach Davis is going to be retained on the Brian Kelly staff.
Yeah, he certainly has, in a short period of time, made his mark and impressed a lot of people. Brought to campus in June under very odd circumstances, not being able to coach the offensive line in the spring, then dealing with injuries, and then plus all the, negativity swirling around the program. And, it just, his whole story, coming out of Bel Air High School, walk on at Oklahoma, earns a scholarship. I don't know. You just can't help but pull for a guy like him. And then when he does talk to the media, and he I don't know, just his delivery and the words he uses, and I don't know, he's just, to me, he's a breath of fresh air. And look, they didn't win the football game, and it was really a disaster. But the way he conducted himself, I think he's afforded himself very well for the future.
I love the fact that Brad Davis, guys, put it all on him. He was saying, I let you guys down. I did this, I did that. Once again, he also said at the end, parting words, remember this feeling. And a lot of coaches use that, but it was interesting. I want you guys' opinions, because Brian Kelly really did not get his hands involved in this preparation for the bowl game. He was up in the booth. Kayshon Boutte, a lot of other players say, I hadn't talked to him, I hadn't met him, I hadn't really had much interaction. Of course, he's met some of the guys, but I think it's his program moving forward. Brad Davis is going to stay. Mike, what's left to wide receiver coach? What else does he have as far as the staff goes? And do you think guys like Jake Peetz and some of the others might get retained, even if it's in an analyticals as an analyst or whatever?
I've been hearing for 2 or 3 weeks that Peetz might have an opportunity to stay on as an analyst. That he and Kelly either hit it off or I don't know. So we'll see. And look, like you had said last night, you know, he's got a pretty salty salary. So why not keep him around? You know, and for that matter, you know, whether it's Andre Carter or, you know, you got to pay him too. Why couldn't he be an analyst for a year? I'm not against, you know, I'm not against keeping particularly the guys who just got here. If you got to pay them anyways, why not have them here? Particularly if, you know, like Andre Carter and Quincy Wiggins, who keep them in your thoughts and prayers. He had a bad accident this morning in San Antonio. Hit on on one of those electric e-bikes or mopeds or whatever. So I'm told he's okay, but we're going to see how that plays out. But big factor in recruiting Quincy Wiggins. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I wouldn't be against keeping him along with Peetz. And if you're going to pay him anyways, you know, keep him on board as an analyst.
JP, always interesting to see those guys 6'5", 6'6", 270, 280, 300 on those motor scooters. And there's no protection, broken arm, but supposedly, Mike, he wanted to get a cast and try to play, but they told him not, so don't worry about Quincy. And, Mike, you saw this guy all along.
Let me tell you this. I saw a grainy video of the wreck, of him actually getting hit and getting bounced. It looked like at least 15 to 20 yards without a helmet. And I'm telling you right now, you, me, anybody I know would be dead or in critical condition right now based on what I saw on video.
Wow.
Boy, that's exerting your toughness right out the gate, huh?
Right,
yeah. Yeah, but I see these guys around LSU doing those scooters, and it is dangerous. I thought you had to have a helmet, but maybe they've changed that.
Well, he didn't have a helmet on, and believe me, there were so many obstacles in the vicinity of him getting thrown from that scooter that he could have. There was so many opportunities for him to hit his head and have a severe head injury, and of course he wasn't wearing a helmet. So, and then I'm also told that the person who hit him was drunk.
Oh.
So, not good.
Man, sad story. It's tough to hear that about a young person, especially with such a bright future.
But Quincy's darn lucky.
Yeah.
He's going to be okay. I don't even know if he's got a break. I'm told maybe a black eye or whatever, but I'm telling you, at some point the video is going to get out. I can't use it, but I'm telling you, if you counted the lanes, he basically got catapulted the equivalent of like 3 lanes.
Hey, tell everybody, Mike, about, you talked about video, all the stuff that you guys shoot, all of the shows, and tell everybody about TigerBait.com. And once again, folks, it's a great time to get up. And if you do the yearly package, you save 3 months, Mike.
Yeah, go to TigerBait.com. We got a lot going on. Follow me on Twitter at Scarborough Mike, and of course, go to our YouTube channel, LSU Tigers on TigerBait. Buddy and I do a show and get a huge number of views and interaction with all the LSU fans on there. And so go to TigerBait.com, subscribe, and like I always say, choose the annual package. When you do that, you save yourself. You're basically getting 3 months free versus going monthly.
All right, going to put you on the spot as we let you out of here. You know, Mike really worked hard on this Kim Mulkey story when she was coming over from Baylor. Do they pull the upset? Do they play close? Or is it just you find out tonight the reality that LSU women's basketball is not in a place, and this is a gargantuan leap. We're talking about getting your club ready to play the number one team in the country. I think it's going to be great fanfare. White out if you go on. But, Mike, I want to predict the victory, but I think they're going to play very competitive and probably lose by 5 or 7. But I'd love to see Coach Mulkey. And JP, if she wins this game, man, there's going to be a celebration in that Pete Maravich Assembly Center for the women's basketball team like you haven't seen in a long, long time.
Oh, yeah, I think Coach – go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
South Carolina's got a player out, right?
Yeah, they got a couple.
So that could be the difference. It's going to be a sold-out crowd, I think, or damn near it. They tweeted out them putting all the white T-shirts on the back of all the chairs. So it looks like everybody who goes is getting a free white T-shirt. So I'm just this Mulkey era, I call it Mulkey fever. It's absolutely fun to watch it. And like I said last night, and I've been saying all along, I'm enjoying watching my hardcore football guy friends all of a sudden get enthralled with LSU women's basketball and Kim Mulkey because she is must-see TV. You watch every one of her press conferences. She makes you laugh. You see how smart she is as a basketball coach. It's riveting stuff.
Thank you, Mike. Keep up the great work. Get you some rest, and we'll talk with you again probably next week on Wednesday or whatever week we're taping Tigers Roar.
All right, good stuff. Thanks. Talk to y'all soon.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, buddy. JP, what do you think? Can they pull the upset, or is it just I think the real key, not to interrupt you before you answer, staying out of foul trouble. Yeah. And you cannot afford to have – they're not that deep this year.
Right.
They play about 7. Can't afford to have one of her bigs get in foul trouble early.
Right. Got to set up foul trouble. Got to have good transition basketball. Look, Coach Mulkey, she said, if we do beat South Carolina, it's not like we've arrived. This isn't our peak. And if we lose to them, it's not the end of the world either. She's got a very good attitude of where her team is at this point in the season. 14-1, only won 9 games last season. Certainly on an upward trajectory, going up very quickly like a rocket ship in the SEC. This team is one to be dealt with, one to be reckoned with, but South Carolina, number 1 all season, very big, very athletic, can really slow down the game and play half-court basketball. It's going to be a tough challenge for LSU. Don't forget, come by and see us over here, Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard. Some of the best barbecue in all of Baton Rouge. Your favorite. That's right. Quick break. Come back and wrap up here on Tigers Roar.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf & Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bugg Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
This edition, the first Tigers Roar of 2022. Let's talk some New Year's Six bowl games. Happy for Baylor. Coach Arena knocking off Ole Miss. Of course, Matt Corral goes down early in that game. Hate to see it for that young man, but you know what's going to spur all these conversations about should kids play in bowl games. Now you're happy that your kids opted out. So, but man, last and for all, should a kid play in a bowl game if he's not going to be a top 32 pick?
Yeah, it's a tough question, and obviously more and more of these young guys. It started with Fournette and Christian McCaffrey a while back.
Certainly.
And look, if you're going to be a top five, a top first-round pick, there are certain barometers that you got to look at, and so I can understand that. But I love Matt Corral. He says, look, I'm going to play with my brothers, and I'm here with this team. I'm not going to opt out. Oh, by the way, it doesn't seem to be super serious. Now, he's probably going to miss some compound works and some other stuff, but it's an individual decision. But unfortunately, the way it's trending, more and more are opting out, and this is why this weekend all the politicians, the administrators, the presidents and chancellors and all that, they're getting in meetings here, and if it goes to 12 with the CFP and they make it 12 instead of 4, I'm hoping more guys will play in bowl games, because the bowl games right now are certainly getting de-emphasized.
Well, Kingpin wants it to be a 14-team playoff. 2 teams get a bye in the first round, play 3 or 4 weeks, and then get the national championship. I like the idea of expanding the bowl game. I think the playoff, I think everybody pretty much does. But I mean, how do you do it? What's fair? How many at-large bids do you have? That's all things that need to be figured out. But man, this NIL stuff, they need to put a cap on it. I think that's the biggest story going right now in college football. Stories come about Texas A&M spending crazy amounts of money on this 2022 class. That will be another show for another day. We'll talk a lot about NIL and a whole lot more. Exciting time for LSU basketball. Men take on the Tennessee Volunteers this weekend. But, of course, big game for Coach Smalley. Good luck with the Lady Tigers. And we hope you catch next week's edition of Tigers Roar.